This week's episode of One Piece goes full Looney Tunes as Luffy does battle with Avelon the Tram Man, a literal living minecart. Ladies and gentlemen, the Silver Mine arc is going to continue, and this week's episode was one wild ride. It was also just, frankly, pretty damn ridiculous even by One Piece standards. The highlight of this episode, without a doubt, is this brand new character who goes by the name of Avelon, who has this devil fruit power which is known as the Roll fruit, which essentially transforms him into a rail cart, or a mine cart, and he can ride around on rails, and they're in this underground area where there are these tracks all over the place, all over the walls, and he's able to sort of jump from rail to rail, and it makes for some really interesting action sequences, but it also comes across as just incredibly cartoony, and that's saying a lot because the One Piece series really does look pretty damn goofy most of the time, but this episode right here was just ridiculous, to say the frickin' least. Most of the episode, Luffy was actually still stuck in that massive silver ball, and it wasn't until the very end of the episode where Avelon tried to charge Luffy and attack him with this massive drill arm that he actually broke free from the silver and started to just whip his ass. They had this sequence where they were going around all of these different minecart caves, dropping bombs all over the place, which ended up biting Avelon in the ass because when Luffy used Gatling punches on him, it sent him flying, going into every single bomb, and essentially just taking him out. It was really damn convenient that it worked out that way, but then again, this is a One Piece filler episode. They can do what the hell they want. And then there is the villain Bill, who is just such a stereotypical villain in every single way. They start to build on his backstory a little bit more in this episode, which is also connected to Desires. Apparently she went out to become a pirate and her crew was attacked by this mysterious pirate crew, which almost certainly was Bill's, and Bill finds her. He decides that he's going to make her a part of his crew because he's so freaking charismatic, but he's so evil and has the worst shit-eating grin that I've ever seen that you have to tell that this guy has ill intentions. And ill intentions he does have because all of the crew members who never work out for him or start to basically screw up his operation get tossed into this mine where all they have to do is just mine for silver constantly, and they're always on guard because Avelon is constantly all over the place. So everyone's being imprisoned, so we all know that Luffy's going to end up saving the day, but the preview for the next episode at least shows that things are going to get more interesting as it looks like Zoro's going to be getting involved, and maybe even Trafalgar Law. It looks like it's going to be pretty damn awesome as we're getting closer to see what this whole Bill guy is all about. Otherwise, what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Really, that's all I have to say about this week's episode. Just really simple, just a lot of action of watching the characters run away from Avelon, which did have some funny moments, and I have to admit, it is pretty creative, his overall devil fruit powers, as ridiculous as they are. And it was great that Luffy finally got out of that stupid ball. The way it actually happened was kind of insane and extremely lucky on Luffy's part because he could have been impaled, but still, I'm glad that it happened because I didn't want to see him stuck like this the entire time. Same thing for Bartolomeo. He finally got all of that nasty goo off of his hands, so he's actually going to be able to use his barrier abilities. The whole character of Desire, though, just feels really shoehorned in this episode. Her whole story is just, it felt like something that I've seen so many times in so many other anime series, and it must be really difficult to come up with, like, a really good, fresh filler story, and I'm not really getting it from this one that much. I actually kind of appreciated the one we got before the Dressrosa arc, where we got to see the return of the Fighting Dugongs from Alabasta. I thought that was handled a little bit better than this one, but it all depends on how quickly they decide to wrap up this arc. The other thing we have to take in mind is that this arc is going to somehow tie to the brand new movie, and I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that quite yet. The only connection I really see was the character of Mr. Tanaka from the last episode, a character appearing in that film, and the fact that this is called the Silver Mine arc and the movie is called Gold. Gold and silver, silver and gold, you can see what they're going for. But still, I can't wait to see what that sort of connection is going to be as we get into these further episodes. Zoro coming in, I think, is a really great choice just because he's freaking awesome. Who doesn't freaking love Zoro? I can't wait to see that. Otherwise, this is basically just a goofy, fun, inoffensive filler episode of One Piece. You can take it or leave it. It's a pretty average episode. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. It was still a pretty creative episode. I mean, Avalon's powers are definitely kind of cool from what I've seen from the One Piece series. series, and it's an inventive use of the devil fruit powers, if anything. So this is an episode I think One Piece fans should probably watch at least once. You'll definitely get a few moments you like, and maybe even a few laughs, and some of the action is pretty cool. So check it out, One Piece fans, but if any of you did watch this week's episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, comment on the video, and share it with all of your friends. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!